Let's stay with this theme as President Cyril Ramaphosa says there is a need to prioritize reliable supply of water across South Africa. This should be done with the support and reforms from local government. Professor Richard Meissner, who's a water expert and associate professor at the University of South Africa, joins us right now to discuss some of these issues. Prof, good to have you on the program this evening. So firstly, President Cyril Ramaphosa has likened South Africa's water situation to the electricity crisis. In your view, how severe is the water crisis in South Africa, and what are the biggest risks we face right now?
Yeah, good evening, Hlantla, and good evening to the viewers. Yeah, you know what? Now, this morning I spoke to another journalist, and he asked me a similar question about the water crisis. You know what? From a political science point of view, I would argue that there are certain areas in South Africa are experiencing water crises. A relative of mine, for instance, stays in Winnie Mandela, formerly Brandfort, and she regularly informs me about lack of water in the town. But in other areas, your more urbanized areas, it's going actually quite well. Although you have from time to time, especially when you have planned or maintenance or repair work being done, then you have lack of water. But it's not as if, you know, there's no planning around that. So, you know, for me, it's mixed. When people start talking about a water crisis, certain areas do experience dire water situations, others not so much. So I think to speak of a water crisis, it's often used as a political concept when people want to show the urgency of a matter, or you know, they want to bring it to people's attention. Yeah, the major issue in South Africa, obviously, it's in the urban areas. Like I said, not in all the large metropolitan areas and large towns. It's always said that, you know, the Western Cape, they don't experience such dire situations as the rest of the country up north here. But in the rural areas, research that we conducted while I was at the CSIR showed that people often experience water insecurity. So I would rather talk of water insecurity long-term or short-term water security or water insecurity rather than a crisis.
Right. With that said, some areas or municipalities have also been struggling with water service delivery for years. I mean, one also thinks about the situation in Hammanskraal, which until only recently was a major challenge. What do you see as the main reasons behind some of these failures, and what structural changes are indeed needed to fix them in the long term?
Yeah. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned Hammanskraal. Yes, the situation in Hammanskraal 2 years ago in May 2023 with the cholera outbreak was quite that I would say that was a crisis indeed. And also in the Free State, where you also had cases of cholera. The situation in places like Hammanskraal, the municipality, the Tshwane Metropolitan Municipality, they've started with some time ago with a program to rehabilitate the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works. They involved the Development Bank of Southern Africa with the financial expertise that can tailor-make financial instruments to fund such projects, and also they have the technical expertise, so they can bring in the technical expertise. And that is a very good example of what can be done at local municipal level or local government level, where you have a situation like that. And if I contrast that, the Hammanskraal or the Rooiwal situation with another situation, the Percy Stewart wastewater treatment works in Krugersdorp, which has been in a basically non-functional now for I don't know how many years. You know, people always ask me, but why don't the municipality do anything about to fix the wastewater treatment plant? And I always refer them to or tell them about the example of the Hammanskraal, where the the former Mayor Celia Brink, together with the former Minister of Water and Sanitation, as well as the Director General of Water and Sanitation, they got together, they worked out the plan, they got a DBSA involved, like I said, and it's always, something of a mystery. Why can't other municipalities do that? But I think we tend to think that municipalities are the same all across the country. They're not. We have over 250 municipalities, and not all of them are water service authorities or water service providers. Only 168 of them are, where they have the capability and also the ability to provide water services. The leadership structure within municipalities differ. The coalition governments differ. One party might be dominant.
Right.
Another example is, for instance, the Tabazimbi local municipality, which has also been sitting with problems supplying water and also sanitation services. And that municipality owes millions, if not billions of rands to the Magalies Water Board. So we see this disparate situation across the country. And last night, when the president mentioned that a white paper will be developed in consultation with local governments, that was a step, I think, in the right direction, because we are going to see, maybe going into the future, the next 2-3 years, a reform of, for instance, the Municipal Finance Management Act, and also the Municipal Systems and maybe the Municipal Structures Act, where these reforms are needed, and also the promising utterance of the president, where he said that water utilities at local government level will be ring-fenced, and that's one of the major problems, because the water utilities, they earn a lot of revenue for local government, but not all that revenue goes back into that utility to maintain, operate, and implement new water projects at local government level, because it's used for other services as well. So that ring fencing, I think it is important. That's a major structural change that I foresee going into the future. And in fact, last year, the city of Johannesburg, the former Minister Senzo Mchunu, requested that they revise their business plan, and Johannesburg Water did just that. And one of the recommendations was ring fencing of finance, so that the water utility can just do that.
To take from you, Prof, some of the words that you're using is that what the president was saying was quite promising, or a step in the right direction. But when listening back to the speech, the infrastructure fund has secured what, 23 billion rand for large water projects. Do you think these investments will significantly impact water security, or are there any other critical gaps, if you will, that still need to be addressed?
Yeah, you see, these are bulk water projects. I mean, the president spoke about the 23 billion rand, and incidentally, one of the bulk water projects, the Unkomazi Water Project Phase 1 down in KwaZulu-Natal, will be constructed at an estimated cost of 23.2 billion rand. Now, we also need to take notice of what the president said. He said, we secured it. So in other words, that 23 billion rand is in hand to construct a large bulk water projects. For instance, the Nkomazi, the DWS will construct the Smithfield Dam, and that dam will have a capacity of 251 million cubic meters, and also a water conveyance system. And that is to enhance the water security for approximately, I would say, 6 million people and support economic growth in KwaZulu-Natal. So these bulk water infrastructure projects, they have the potential to address water insecurity.
Prof, unfortunately, we have run out of time. Professor Meissner giving us his perspective from remarks made by the president on water issues and bulk water infrastructure projects that are on the cards.